Good morning, YouTubers. This is Irene. I just wanted to give you an update on some things that have happened over the last couple of months. Uh, well, there's no secret we had a horrible hurricane hit us. It was quite huge, and although it was a Category 1 by the time it hit us on the island of Myrtle Beach, we were not in an area that was evacuated, and so we stayed, and the storm was awful. And I was very fortunate. I had some family and friends texting me, apprising me of the tornadoes and everything else that was going on in the area. We had experienced a, I don't know, 60-foot, maybe more, a pine fall down and just, not only just missed our house, but it just missed where I was hiding out with my babies, my little dogs. And the thunderous boom of that tonnage from that tree and the way the earth rocked beneath me, I've never experienced in my life. It was, to me, the most terrifying thing I've been through. But I've been through many hurricanes. I'd say that was the worst, next to Hurricane Gloria, which I had experienced when I lived on Long Island. Anyway, we had, when I had moved here 4 years ago, I had adopted, I worked for an animal rescue, and there was a hoarder situation where they were doing puppy mill breeding or whatever, and there was a little Maltese available. And so because I had a couple of small dogs, I said, well, I'll take her in with me, and I'll help her out. And she was 8 years old, and her teeth were terrible, and she was missing half of them, and she had punctures in her soft palate. I had that sewn up. She was spayed. She had her dental, and I brought her home, and she was ridden with fleas. I put her right into the sink, and I washed her with flea shampoo, and it was just blood that was dripping off of her. It was terrible. But anyway, I spoiled her rotten. I gave her special care. I took good, lots of love, good attention. I gave her everything. She became my little baby. And I adored her. And she was a quirky little girl, and she had certain idiosyncrasies that were funny, and she was an amazing little girl. She had seizures occasionally, and I was right there with her, and I took care of her, and she was an absolute delightful pet. Well, the day after the hurricane hit us here, she became extremely sick, and I called the vet, and apparently they must have been evacuated or something. They didn't leave any forwarding messages. And so I finally, I'm sure they're probably gone. And so I called up an emergency vet, and I was really lucky to find one that was open. And ironically, it was in the middle of the evacuation zone. They hadn't opened up the island yet to allow people back. And I brought her over there, and by the time we got there, she was on her last breaths. And so I had them put her down. So she wouldn't suffer. And I miss her so much. She was an amazing little girl. I buried her. I had a headstone made for her. And I had a really rough time getting over that loss. So I began to go on Pet Finder to see if I can find another dog. And I didn't want to get a puppy. I wanted to get a rescue again, but maybe one a little bit older. The one that I had, one of my dear friends calls her affectionately Diaper Dog. I did diaper her because we didn't want to traumatize her by housebreaking her. We wanted her to just enjoy her life, and That's not uncommon with small breeds. Sometimes they are difficult to housebreak, but we never wanted to use the word no in front of her. Anyway, I had gone on Pet Finder, and the only dogs that were in this state that were available at the time were there were 2 10-year-old dogs, and they were available for rescue. But hush. And there were 2 10-year-old dogs that were available for rescue. I apologize. That's my Papillon. I couldn't take those because I was still trying to resolve the heartbreak that I had from losing, you know, my 12-year-old Maltese. I had her for 4 years. And I wanted to get something younger, and the only thing that was really available was pretty much in Florida. Although I did apply in, I think, Indiana, Ohio, Massachusetts, I think it was Maryland, but mostly Florida. I tried applying in Florida, and I have excellent references, vet, grooming, personal. And I'm not hearing from anybody, and I'm thinking, God, that's so peculiar. And I contacted a rescue or two in Florida, and I said, you know, what is the problem here? And they said, well, you live out of state. And I said, well, it doesn't say anything about you must live in state, you know, on the application for the dog. And they said, well, this is how we do it. And so, in essence, if I lived in Pensacola and I applied in Miami, I could get a dog in Florida. But being that I'm in South Carolina and I'm closer, I'm not eligible. Well, I honestly find it very unlikely that they go do annual or semi-annual inspections of these dogs in their homes and whatnot. I just don't see it. It would be an impossible task. So there was another dog that I was allowed to adopt in Ohio, but the ride would have been really, really rough. There were no hotels for us to stay at. It was up in the mountains somewhere, and my husband's truck just it wouldn't be able to make it up there, so we had to turn that one down. But aside from that, I just found myself extremely frustrated. So I figured, well, maybe I'm going to have to just go the puppy mill route, which I didn't want to do. And I started looking on Puppy Finder, and then I found my way into an AKC link, and I clicked on that. And I wrote to several breeders and explained the situation, that I lost my little girl, and it happened so suddenly, and I'm really having a tough time, you know, letting go of her. I really thought I'd have her another 2 or 3 years. And I heard from this one breeder, and she says, I might have something for you. And the long and short of the story is that she was a champion show dog, and she was bred twice. And what they usually do is, once you have a champion, the puppies are more valuable, and they usually breed their dogs every other year. So it's healthier for the mother. So I said, you know, well, if she's available, I said, you know, I'll take her. She was only 5 years old, and so I was told that she had 2 litters, but this year there was an accident, and there was an accidental breeding. And she says that, you know, this dog gave birth prematurely, and unfortunately all the puppies died. So they said that, you know, they're not going to breed her again because, you know, I don't know, maybe if they stretch it up to 6 years, but, you know, she's 5 years old, 5.5 now, and I'm going to let you move. So, here you go. All right, I apologize about that. So anyway, she sold it to me for a very reasonable price. And I guess she got all she could out of the dog. And I had to just wait for her body to calm down after the puppies. And then she needed to be spayed. And then my husband and I had to take a drive over to Louisiana and pick up my little angel. And I have her now, and she is just precious to me. And Tashi, come to mommy. Come to mommy. Here she is. And meet my new little girl. This is Tashi. And she is the sweetest little thing. She looks a lot like my other one, but different. And she acts similar to her, but then again different. And she is very, very lovable. She wraps herself around me like a little scarf most of the time. And I get kisses. My other little girl couldn't give kisses, but I knew that they were there. And so she's 5, so hopefully I'll have 10 years with her. And you know, I think about how old I am, and do I really want a breed to outlive me? And I say no. I don't want to have any dogs that my family is going to have to take care of after I pass. I think that, you know, I would rather let the puppies go first, and then hopefully, you know, I'll pass after them, because family sometimes gets funny about taking care of your pets, and you have to think about these things. I'm 60 now, and you know, I'm not ready to go yet. I got a few more miles under my feet. But, you know, when you have these young, small breeds, some of them last a long, long time. I've heard of Maltese living up to 21 years. And at that point, I'd be 81 if I was alive then. So that's just a consideration that needs to be made. Anyway, I'm really happy. I'm glad that it worked out for me. I'm very, very upset about how the rescues have treated me and probably many others. I think that their ads are misleading. If they don't want to rescue out of state, they should state that in the ad. Or just give somebody the consideration of a phone call, because it's a very, very lengthy application you have to fill out. You have to give addresses and phone numbers and everything, and family and friends and doctors and groomers and all this stuff. You know, it's not just your name and address and phone number. So anyway, oh, and you also your pet history too, you have to put down. So that's the story. So that's me, and I got my little Tashi right beside me here. Whoops, there's a cute little face. And so we're gonna have a good time together. And I still have my other dogs, but they're adjusting to her very well, and all is good. So anyway, if I don't talk or see any of you between now and the holidays, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful and safe holiday. And I look forward to chatting and talking with any of you, all of you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.